Namaste, everyone. I'm going to give you a Kriya for removing the obstacle. So, these Kriyas, belonging to Kundalini Yoga, are around 40 to 80,000 years old, right? Even older than that. And these Kriyas, they are a yogic science, it's a technology that is given to support human evolution. So as we know on this planet at this time, this technology age is creating a major pressure on us to evolve, right? And we think our evolution is about we're evolving to become, right, a star nation, right? Uh, which we are curious about going into space, and we are right. We see that all in our TV shows, right? Our American film. There's a lot of sort of sci-fi, and there's a lot of sort of outer space, interstellar kind of exploration and curiosity. But the real evolution that this technology is for is the evolution of human emotional and spiritual maturity, right? So in the Dark Ages, we know as the medieval, right? Medieval, Romanesque, Roman time period, right? That's everything about the patriarchal domain, and everything in our high school textbook is basically history through the patriarchal lenses, which according to yogic science, the patriarchal age began around 5,500 years ago. That's when it was being strongly. That's when it started to gain its momentum. It started to really be penetrative and into began to really force itself on this planet. Right. Really started to get its power. Right. But before that, um, we had a transitional period, right? And in that transitional period, just like any period on this planet, there was a crisis, right? It's when we talk about the derobing of the matriarch, right? And the establishment of the patriarchal religious, known as like the Immune priesthood. And we're just looking into like dynastic Egypt, right? The Immune priesthood and that, the patriarchal had their own religious, right? They kind of separated themselves from the matriarchal religious or spirituality, right? And created what we know as the organized religion, right? Um, so a lot of this yogic science, right? These kriyas, they belong to they have crossed through multiple eras, ages of human development and human expression and human society and human culture. It's very rich, and it's been tried and it's been true in the way that when humanity is in the point of you getting into the red zone, this help what I call pull up your pants, right? When our pants are to our knees and we're just kind of sitting there like, what am I supposed to do? It's like the thing that gets you to pull your pants up and gets you to move forward, right? So it creates these kriyas create an actual momentum of creative destiny, and it creates a fire, right? A fire of removing the waste, clearing out the wasteland in the subconscious. And it also gives you that naval security, um, the naval security to actually hold the position long enough for the changes to happen, because the holding of the position is something that has to happen, right? For the changes to actually begin to integrate and integrate and then begin to solidify over time, right? Or through generations or through the lineage of your tribe, right? So we're just going to tune in with Ang Namo Gurudev Namo. So rub your hands together. Inhale, press it into your sternum. Exhale. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I'm going to do our protection mantra. Inhale. Adgaraname, Jugadgaraname, Sadgaraname, Siddhi Gurudev Name. Adgaraname, Jugadgaraname, Sadgaraname, Siddhi Gurudev Name. Adgaraname, Jugadgaraname, Sadgaraname, Siddhi Gurudev Name. Inhale. Exhale. So we're gonna get right into the Kriya. We have a little audience today who wants to kind of see what I'm up to. He kind of sits by the door and just like sniffs. It's like, what's going on? Yeah, now he can see what's going on. So what we're gonna do, and little doggy will join us if he will kind of sit. So you're gonna lift up. You're gonna. Pepe, go over here. Or go. Yes, thank you. Muchas gracias. So you got an O-shaped mouth, and you're literally like, imagine like you're going into your subconscious, like you got a shovel, and you're like literally digging in and throwing it back, right? Like you're digging and you're clearing up the wasteland. You should feel it in your biceps. That's the shovel. Like you're lifting up dirt and you're throwing it out of your aura. Now I want you to go real fierce, like you're lifting up. So you should lift your butt off the ground like you're bouncing, right? Inhale, sip of air through the O-shaped mouth. Hold the hands back behind you like you're reaching back. Sip of more air through the O-shaped mouth. Press the tongue in the upper palate, squeeze, root lock, chin lock. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze, root lock, chin lock, tongue in the upper palate. Reach back, open the armpits, Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze from the toe to the hair like you're levitating off the ground. Exhale. Have one right there. Woo! That one is like real energizing, right? Really gets you kind of moving. So, next thing we're going to do, we're going to have our hands kind of out here at this heart frequency, right? Kind of out. Kind of just like You see like 60 degree, kind of like the 60 degree right hand from the chest. You're going to have your hands kind of like this, sort of like you're grabbing your heart energy, right? So you're grabbing your heart energy. Inhale long and deep, but very powerful. Like I call it a dragon nose, where the very you see the fire through the dragon's nose. Very powerful. And have your hands real tight, okay? Open up the hands, hold it at the 60 degree here at the heart frequency, hold that heart. And hold it up, hold the heart up, really lift up. What you're doing, you're creating expansion in your heart field, your electromagnetic field. Very, very powerful sort of circuit system. Your heart is the first generator of heat, right? The first generator of, we call Kundalini, right? When you're in the utero, the first thing that's established in you is your heart, right? Your heartbeat. So your heart is the first sort of circuit in which the other circuits begin to develop, and they begin to connect and right and stream energy back and forth through each other, right? Create a circuit to circulation of distribution of energy throughout the entire system. The first thing we have is the heart, right? The heartbeat. Before we have the mind wave, we have the heartbeat of the child. Really hold it. You'll feel it tingling in your palms of your hands, in your chest, but hold it. Everything that we do in Kundalini yoga, especially with holding these postures, is everything is a test of our will. And it's also a test of our stamina and determination, because everything about humanness coming to earth is you'll hear the word stamina, determination, resilience, tolerance. Those are common words that have been basically describe the sort of human experience when it comes to excellence and when it comes to victory. There's always those words. Okay, inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands tight like a fist, and bring it into your heart. When you got it onto your heart, don't touch the chest. Place it here, right at the thymus. Really squeeze the hands real tight. Inhale, very deep squeeze, root lock, chin lock, press the tongue, nape, or palate. Hold it tight like a fist. And let that energy rise from the base of the spine all the way to the deeper brain. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now you're gonna lift your hands up, kind of clap it. Bring your hands prayer, and you're gonna twist left to the right. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. So keep twisting, listen to my voice. What you're doing now is you're letting that Kundalini rise up the base of the spine, into the heart, into the back of the neck, right, into the deeper brain, right? So basically you're allowing that energy we created to move and distribute and circulate. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands down like this, kind of like you're grabbing your success, right? Reaching out. Let your heart project out, reach out like this, kind of like you have claws. Have your hands out like nibble length apart, right? Hari hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hum dum, hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hum dum, hum dum, hari hari hum dum. Hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hari hari hum dum, hare hare 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 hum dum. Inhale. Squeeze, root lock, chin lock. Press the tongue in the upper palate. Squeeze, reach with your heart, your soul. Exhale. Inhale. Reach with your soul. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands into prayer, right, with a force of will. Kind of press it tight and press it in your sternum and put weight onto the palms. Press it tight together. Roll your shoulders back. Tuck in that chin. Press the chest up. Press the tongue in the upper palate. Root lock. Squeeze mulabund. Sex organ, rectum, navel. Squeeze from the toe to the hair. Experience your power now. Press, weight. Exhale. Coming in your belly. Okay, relax. I'm going to place your hands right here in this arc line area. Okay, kind of, you're going to open up the armpits, right? You're going to open up the chest. Okay. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to lift up your chest. You're just going to allow that energy to rise up, to move where it needs to move, so that you can have more energy, more powerhouse, more freedom, more liberation. Brahman. So this is the mantra. You're gonna kind of do it like it's like a echo, like it's echoing, right? Echoing off of the mouth. Brahman. Brahman. So this is a very powerful mantra, right? And we're speaking to the God, the everything, right? The theory of everything, right? We're vibrating the cosmos. Brahman. 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 Inhale. Lift up. Feel that broadcast. That's an intergalactic broadcast. Very, very powerful. Very interstellar. Very multidimensional. Exhale. Bring the hands down. Bring it into your heart, and then just kind of come down, bow, and then kind of up. So just bring that frontal lobe to the ground. Don't hit your head, just bring it down to the ground. You want to create a little sort of vibration on the frontal lobe, but you're not going to like smash it in. So what you're doing is you're kind of opening, unlocking this forehead, this frontal lobe, right? You're creating a vibration in the frontal lobe. Inhale up, exhale down. Create like a dragon's nose. Exhale. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of like, sort of like paddling, like swimming. I'm going to chant, Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Now become a maverick, go wild. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Now really become a rock star with it. Really bring up your anger, really bring everything up and face it like you're swimming through the great waters of your soul. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Inhale, lift up. Reach, root lock, chin lock, tongue in the upper palate, squeeze from the toe to the hair. Exhale. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Inhale. Reach up with your armpits, your rib, your heart. Reach up, up, up. More. Sip of more air. More. Exhale. Bring the hands to the navel. We're going to just do a little meditation. Bring your feet out like this, like you're sort of, opening that birth canal, right? Holding your legs like this really opens up that birth canal. You're going to kind of hold your ankles, kind of bring your sort of knees towards you, literally like you're trying to push a baby out. So really kind of bend those knees, bring them to you, right? Kind of like it fits into the armpits, or it fits into the knee, right? That spot. Open your heart. Don't let you're not sinking your chest back. You're really opening up, right? So create that opening, and you're gonna chant. Hada 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 hada. So you're gonna squeeze belly button spine gently, right? If you're not pregnant or in your first 3 days of your menstrual cycle, right? And you're just gonna kind of chant, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna really create this sort of birth canal opening, right? The stabilization of the navel in contact with the legs. Hada 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 hada. And when you bring in hara, I want you to mentally also put out waheguru. So hara, hara, hara. I'm chanting, vocalizing, but waheguru, waheguru, waheguru mentally. So there's a double mantra going on. This is getting a little bit, like you could say, advanced, right? So hara, 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 hara. So I'm bringing the hara, almost like I'm dropping the hara into my navel, right? Like it's dropping it, but then waheguru is like a wave, a mind wave that goes waheguru, 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 like out. So hara, 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 waheguru, 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 waheguru. So see that sort of connection mentally, waheguru, 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 but vocally, hara, 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 down, down, down. Hara, 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 hara. Hara 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 hara. So look at my mouth and see my tongue. You see my tongue is moving. Your tongue should be moving, bouncing up and down the roof of the mouth, hitting, right? Hara 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 hara. Inhale, squeeze, exhale. Okay, we're gonna tune out with one long stop down. Inhale. Sat Nam. There you go. So that's a Kriya, very powerful Kriya, right? One of many, right? So many, because again, we have 40, 80,000 years of time, so Kriyas can become very prolific in that amount of time, right? So I'm going to talk about this planet Earth, right? This planet Earth in this sort of, we have like a, say like an intergalactic sort of confederation, right? We know this, right? We're not the only planet with, intelligent life form. So we are in the intergalactic sort of community confederation. Here, go, Pepe. So in the intergalactic sort of confederation, we are considered a planet with the number 2, the number 2 of 7, right? So what that means is we know that we're kind of in a 2-dimensional reality, which is like forward and back, side to side, right? Where, we talk about linear time, right? Well, we talk about there's a 7 energy, right? We call it the 7 dimension on this planet. We talk about the 7 as like a spiritual number, right? It means like, we call it like 7 as enlightenment and, master number, ascended being number, these kinds of things. So this planet has a 7, meaning there are individuals in their physical body, right? The physical body have, we could say, reach the power of the seven, right? But on this planet, right, this planet is considered youthful or young, right? It's kind of like an adolescent planet in compared to older planets that are more mature and that have a lot more time than we do, right? So we're considered like an adolescent. But there are the seven energy, right? The master, the ascended being, the sort of enlightenment, the high point of spiritual sort of number, right? It represents that what people, human beings, have obtained on this Earth planet, right? We have obtained the the seven dimension, we could say, right? And but we are still, we could say, the sort of primary number, right? The primary sort of energy dimension we've had on this planet is a two, right? So we talk about the fifth dimension, right? We're going into the fifth dimension, right? This fifth dimension represents a spherical sort of understanding, right? Two dimension can be very, we know it's very much like a piece of paper. You can fold it this side, you can fold it forward, you can fold it side to side, right? Vertical, horizontal. But fifth dimension is about origami, right? Taking that sort of flat piece of paper, you can fold horizontally, vertically, these kinds of things. Origami is where you actually start to see, right, the sort of spherical form. We call it the Mandela form, right? And that is what we call the golden age. It's a golden age that we have on this planet Earth. That we've had three golden ages thus far. We have had three golden ages, right, thus far on this planet. Again, we're very adolescent, but we go through these sort of periods, this wave-like motion when it comes to our consciousness. That's just kind of how it is, right? To be spherical, you have to have an education, all the many the many layers that makes up the human, right? The human being, right? So the Dark Ages, right? We talk about the Dark Ages where we're kind of like walking, we're living in a basement of our lives, right? We talk about, sending out the Dark Ages, going into, like going into, we call like a Silver Age, which we're in, right? Aquarius is a silver sort of energy, right? And then the Golden Age, right, is an even more ascended sort of position that the Earth holds, right? It's a status, basically. And on this planet, we've reached the seven status, right? But our sort of companion planets, I'll just say, allies, our allies have even more. We talk about Pleiades as like a 12 dimension. And the Pleiades holds the frequency of the 12th dimension for this planet Earth, right? It basically means it's status, right? There's this status that we can hold, right? And as we continue to spiritually, emotionally mature and evolve, we reach these status, right? But just like when you think of, you get abundance, or you get more gifted or talented at what you're doing, you get a higher status, you get more recognition, you get more power, more energy in what it is that you're doing. You get very good at what you're doing. So we've gotten really good to the point of like the seven number, the seven dimension. We talk about like the seven is like the monks and the gurus and the yogis and the meditators, right? They're very much at a seven dimension, right? Where basically we're taking the origami, right? We see the origami from with a mandala, right? But it's like a spherical mandala, right? And in the seventh dimension, it becomes more of it becomes a sound. It becomes it becomes a sound. So we think of the yantra, we think of the seventh dimension as like a sound, like a mantra, right? A mantra belongs to a seventh dimension. The yantra belongs to like a fifth dimension. Very interesting. But the mantra that we use is something that individuals have reached that status to be able to tap into that wave of thought, because everything is about, you have to be, it's almost like you have to earn, right? You have to literally elevate, you have to sort of reach this sort of point in your status where you can get the key to it's like your stat, like the you get different statuses in life, and with those different statuses, you basically get information, right? You get the secrets, right? You're included in these sort of You could say richer energy. We can just say that. So, but us on the planet, we're more at the two, right now. And the Dark Ages, the Bronze Ages, is more so. It's a two, right? It's a two status. And like I said, the two status is very limiting. It's very restricting with human capability. So with the two and how we graduate, right, from the two to the five, right, and I see it as two. We can say, three, right, the third dimension. That's what we always kind of call it, the third dimension. Um, the third dimension, the fifth dimension, and then I see the seventh dimension. And the fourth dimension and the sixth dimension are considered transitional dimensions, meaning there's always a transitional period, right? And the the fifth and no, the fourth and the sixth are these transitional dimensions, right? So basically, what that means is the fourth and the sixth are just those numbers represent education. That's a period where basically we grow up, right? We grow up, right? When we think of the four number, we think of the four as very much about the heart frequency, where it becomes, we mature in our heart, we mature in our emotions, right? So a lot of people who are, you can say, ascending from third dimension to fifth dimension, which is like, third dimension below is like there's a lot of limitations, a lot of restrictions on what you're capable of, what's possible for you. And the fourth dimension means the matter of the heart, meaning you're beginning to crack open basically your heart frequency, which is your electromagnetic field. And that's when you begin to work with the aura. The heart is very much about the aura. So that means you start to break the sound barrier of what is possible and capable for you as a human being. And that all starts with the magnetic field of the heart expanding and getting more momentum and getting energized. And then the fifth dimension basically represents these sort of the status, right? When you gain that sort of heart frequency, you get a sort of higher status in your ability to manifest and the information that you can receive from the universe, right? We talk about these sort of meditative minds like Edgar Cayce and even other individuals that get these massive downloads of information where it's really, really good. It's very, very talented what they're saying, what they're painting or the music, whatever it is. It's because when you have that status of, you could say, that fifth dimension, the information that comes through is a lot more clear, and it tends to be a lot more creatively refined, right? Creatively refined, because the fifth dimension represents the renaissance of this planet, right? And the seventh dimension represents the expansion of this planet into like other, planetary systems intermingling with each other, right? So we can say our third dimension is a lot of us who are meditators or doing yoga or, just interested in, emotionally and spiritually maturing, that kind of thing. You are at this fourth frequency, right? We call the fourth dimension, and that's kind of an educational, right? It's an educational dimension, and everything about spiritual maturity or emotional maturity is about educating yourself. It's about awareness, awareness, awareness. And that's about study, that's about participation, that's about community, that's about involvement, that's about getting in touch with your routine, or getting in touch with how you can reparent or repattern or reorganize yourself, right? So we call the four is like a reinvention of the heart, the reinvention of the ability of possibility and opportunity, right? And the sixth energy, we look at the six as we can say is a holy number, right? And again, that's a transitional period as well. When we come from the fifth dimension to the seventh dimension, it's a transitional period, where in that transitional period we begin to work on the expansion of the arc line of you can say the sixth is the arc line of your halo kind of thing, right? The arc line, this whole area. The six kind of represents the holy, you could say the holy sanctum, or sort of the Akashic record, right? And that's the dimension where we basically learn about the Akashic record, and we begin to open the Akashic record, and we participate, we get involved, and basically we're sort of learning about, okay, I've opened up my arc line, okay, what is this Akashic record that I'm tapping into, right? And that the six represents that timelessness, where the Akashic record is just this massive library of all this information regarding you and past lives and this earth and other planets and all of that kind of thing, and all the knowledge that has ever been obtained on this planet and other sort of planetary systems that have sort of shared um, genetic have shared genetic blueprints with us, right? Like Pleiades or Orion or Sirius, these kind of planetary uh, places, right? So that's really interesting. So the four, we're all, this new age, the new age, what's the new age, right? It's the four energy, the fourth dimension. It's a transition. We talk about, in that four dimension, we talk about, I'm having a spiritual awakening, my Kundalini is rising, I'm getting psychic, I'm intuitive, I'm breaking through old patterns, I'm clearing away ancestral curses, right? I'm starting to feel clarity in my mind, I'm manifesting things, right? I'm realizing greater possibility, I'm healing. All of that sort of education and that study is all about the fourth dimension. That's all about the heart. It's all about compassion. It's all about acceptance, and it's all about vibrating higher love. So in that dimension, everything is about higher love. When we think of the monks, when we think of the Tibetan monks, when we think of any sort of meditative place, right, sacred place, so usually these individuals are all in this fourth dimension where they're vibrating higher love, right? They're liberating the chains, the emotional pain, and all that grief that they carry within their heart that creates a major sort of block and a limitation, restriction on their ability to express and to, to mature wiser, right? And the fifth dimension basically represents the golden age, where you see a community or tribe or town or city where everything is about like a renaissance. Their architectural design is basically highly innovative. It's renewable energy. Everything, the whole structure of their society. Because fifth dimension represents you've got it down. Now you actually have a structure to it, meaning your sort of your agriculture, your irrigation, your water purification, your sort of home structure. Basically, even when it comes to ideology, religious education, it's all sort of at this frequency of what we call Renaissance, right? Where it's about very much higher creativity, and it's about community sort of self-expression and freedom, and basically working with your creative equanimity, I would say. Equanimity, creative equanimity. And that's, we talk about a fifth dimension, that's a golden age. And we've had 3 of them on this planet that can last from like 500 years to like 1,000, right? Or it can even last even longer than that, right? Thousands of years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years, right? It just all depends on the planet's sort of the planet's vibratory field, right? Because the planet has these sort of orbits in those positions kind of create a weight, a heaviness, and other positions create sort of a sustained higher frequency. It all kind of depends on that orbit of the planet, right? In the planet, we're talking about the planetary system in connection with the other planetary systems in this galaxy. Really interesting, really odd, and quite strange. But we talk about, we're crossing through this fourth dimension. In that fourth dimension, it's all about vibrating higher, vibrating your heart frequency, healing your heart, liberating. It's about, seeing self and other. It's about awareness. It's about study. It's about dedication to your meditation. It's about clearing away, right, the limitations, the chains, the shackles, the restrictions, the sort of wasteland of the subconscious. And in doing so, eventually you create this sort of this homestead, right? Either it's your city-state, either it's your community, either it's just you, right, or in your lineage. You create this kind of homestead, which basically it gains, you gain so much momentum that the fifth dimension basically becomes the sort of power surge and the sustained sort of power movement that happens when you study, you know, it becomes it becomes primary nature. And that's, we talk about the fifth dimension, where it becomes primary nature for us to manifest, for us to, you know, think, to be aware, right? For us to heal, or for us to, you know, vibrate higher love, right? For us to have harmonious relationships, for us to have a stability and a sort of security within our navel, to be able to consistently be very, very steady within, riding the horse of life, right? The bucking horse of life, right? Um, and then we move right to the sixth, where it becomes another playground, another test, another school of study that we, okay, I've opened my arc line. Oh my God, this is such a record. Now I have to learn all this. And then the seventh dimension, right? Which is basically you become masterful of this planet. We talk about the masters, the seven beings, or the seven, where you've worked your way through the lower chakras, the sort of, basic, school of thought, right? This two to third dimension, and then you've graduated, you've moved and studied and learned and studied and learned and studied and learned, experienced, brought awareness, brought revolution, to the point where you begin to get into the seventh dimension, which basically represents the whole sound current, the whole mantra of you, right? The fifth dimension is the yantra of you, right? The seventh dimension is the mantra of you, right? And this third dimension is very much the coming into the physical. That's kind of what it's about. The third dimension is like, okay, coming into the physical. Okay, now what do I do? The fifth dimension is like, okay, yantra, I'm meant to make more yantras. Yeah, I'm meant to make yantras with my mind and my spirit and my music and my whatever it is I'm doing or participating in, or community, or my family or my home. Right? It's called creative destiny, right? Yantra's creative destiny broadcast. And the seventh dimension is like, okay, I'm in yantra. Now what? Then, okay, I want to get into the mantra. I want to get into a deeper vibratory resonance, a stronger vibratory resonance, a more refined. So yantra is refined vibrational, but mantra is even more refined vibrational resonance. Right. So very, very interesting. So I'm going to leave you guys with this information, and may it kind of open you up and support you on your journey. So, Satnam.